Okay, let's just share the link on YouTube. I guess, I don't know it's where, or maybe. Okay, so I have a demo application for Rodauth that I've been kind of updating with any recent developments. So this is where people can see how a sample Rodauth integration can look like in Rails. And I've been recently playing with WebAuthn, which is open standard for secure authentication based on public private key cryptography. So and it relies the most common inputs for this are biometric identification or security keys, like, I don't know, hardware USBs that you can insert into your computer. So it looks like this. I've already created an account, and this is a passkey auto-completion that's being offered to me. So passkeys are an Apple technology. I don't know what's a good website for it, but it's an Apple technology that's built on top of WebAuthn, and which like mobile phones browsers can automatically support. It's, I guess, something of a more secure or more convenient way to use WebAuthn. So if I select the account that I've already registered, then Chrome asks me for a fingerprint ID. And I guess I can just register again. So I don't know, enter some username, register, yes, and then the browser asks me for if I want to create a passkey. So this is something that the interface looked different before passkeys. And then I confirm my fingerprint ID, and now if I authenticate, it asks me for fingerprint ID and I'm logged in. So this is something I think it's really useful, and it will probably become more popular over time. So so it would be really, I want to show you how you can add it to in a Rails application using the WebAuthn support that Rodauth ships with. So it's these three features. I guess we will start first with the WebAuthn support as part of, I don't know, so there are two ways we can use it. One is as part of multifactor authentication, and the other one is as part of passwordless login and registration. So I think that for the initially I will show how to use it as multi-factor authentication, and then I will create a separate account where we can demonstrate how the passwordless login and registration that Rodauth offers as well. In this application we have authentication configuration for the main user and also authentication configuration for the admin. In this in this stream I don't think that we need to kind of differentiate between those, so I will just add it to the base configuration. So we start by adding the enabling the WebAuthn feature. Maybe we can enable it, yeah, in the same row where the other multi-factor authentication methods are enabled. And we'll also need to add the WebAuthn gem to our gem file, which is a dependency of this Rodauth feature. Lastly, we want to create tables. We need to create tables for this feature, so I will use the Rodauth Rails migration generator to generate this for us. If we look at the generated migration, we'll see it created two tables. The first table is kind of like, I would say, identification of the account. In WebAuthn terminology, it's called the user ID. And the other table is where the devices or the keys are stored. So, for example, you could have multiple keys for like, I don't know, fingerprint or Face ID and a security key. So you can, in your application, you can configure that you can authenticate with both of them, which is more secure because you have multiple fallbacks. So yeah, this is the rough intro to the tables. Let's now run the migrations to create them. I believe this is it. So if I restart the application, since we've added the new gem, and I will now create an account. And verify it. Cool. So now I should be able to select WebAuthn as part of the two-factor authentication. Great. So I have either choice of TOTP. So this is time-based one-time password codes. This is usually accommodated with some application. And there is now we have the choice of WebAuthn. Let me upgrade. So this text field isn't used for anything. So let me update the Rodauth gem because I've sent a pull request which hides that text field. So let's update it, and I'll also update Rodauth Rails just in case, because I've also pushed some updates. Yeah. So let's restart the application, and yeah, it's gone now. Great. So this is WebAuthn setup route. So I can set up authentication. I get the same dialog that I got here in WebAuthn window, and I can proceed. And WebAuthn is now set up. So I can now verify it by logging out. Logging in. And now I'm asked for multi-factor authentication. So I can choose the WebAuthn. Yeah, I guess I didn't even look at recovery codes, but I will use WebAuthn and authenticate. So this is now the authentication route, and I'm now multi-factor authenticated. We can see that I'm authenticated with two factors, password and WebAuthn. So this is the nutshell of WebAuthn integration in Rodauth. So it's, as you see, it was really simple to set up, and there is even a route or endpoint for removing the the authenticators. I guess these are called authenticators. So I have only one now. If I would have registered multiple keys, like what I mentioned, fingerprint and security key, then I would see two radio buttons here. So I can, let's say, I guess we can show it. I can select the ones I want to remove, the one I want to remove, and now it was removed. So the way that it works is, I guess I can show you. Yeah, maybe. I will generate the views or import the views for a WebAuthn. So I will use the Rodauth Rails generator for this. So this should import 3 views, and also the base two-factor authentication pages, which I already have configured and I don't want to change them. So I don't know, or maybe I do. I think there maybe have been some updates. We'll see in the diff. Let's see in the diff. Maybe I've made some fixes. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's fine. So we have the setup form, WebAuthn setup form, authentication form, and the removal form. So you notice that both setup forms and auth forms, they include JavaScript. So, and this JavaScript code is it ships with Rodauth. Yeah, it's here, JavaScript. So this is what is implementing the WebAuthn integration. So WebAuthn requires JavaScript, requires some JavaScript code, and it uses some native APIs to basically trigger those dialogues. And this should, I think, now be supported by the main browsers. So this is for setup and this is for authentication. Yeah, I guess if you ever wanted to change it, you could just copy paste it into your repository and make any changes you want and just import the JavaScript instead of this one, the built-in one. So this is essentially how it works. And now what I wanted was to, like, it's cool to see how many things come out of the box, but it's nice to kind of to demonstrate that you can also extend that behavior and tweak it, make an enhanced user experience that doesn't come out of the box. So what I would like here is to enable the user to add multiple keys, and I believe this is already possible. So if I set the WebAuthn authentication and I manage multifactor, I see an option to set another one. So Rodauth already comes built in with adding multiple keys. I don't unfortunately have anything other than fingerprint ID. I don't have any security keys or anything like that. But what I would like to do, what I liked, is to be able to name, to be able to give some like label to a security key. And maybe, I don't know, display them somewhere. Let's say, I don't know, on the home page, where it's simpler, or maybe even here. Doesn't matter. So this is something that Rodauth doesn't have some kind of text field that would allow you to do that, but let's add it ourselves. And then afterwards, then the last thing I want to show you was the passwordless registration and login that I promised. As I said, the keys are stored in this table. So this is basically has many relations with the accounts table. So account can have many WebAuthn keys, and we can even see it in the console so that it's maybe more tangible. So I will grab our account and I can ask it to retrieve the all WebAuthn keys. So this is this is integration with Active Record that automatically creates these associations. So that's querying. This record is querying that table that we looked at. So if we wanted to store some label with each key, then straightforward, we want to add a text field to this or text column to this table. So let's do that. Rails generate migration. And now add name to account WebAuthn keys. And that will be a string column. Let's see. Yeah, let's generate the correct migration. We will leave it blank because it will be, or we won't add a not null constraint because I think it will be optional to add it. Or maybe we will auto-generate a name if the user doesn't have it. So yeah, let's run the migrations. Great, so now we have the name column. So I will remove this authenticator again because I cannot set up two of the same authenticators or twice use the same fingerprint. So I will remove this. And basically in the setup form, we want to allow adding setting the name of this authenticator. So I will go to the setup form and add that field. So form, yeah, I will maybe copy this. Interesting that it's not asking me for a password. Yes, because I have a password grace period set up now. Nothing doesn't matter. We will now do some renaming. So this will be a label for name. I mean, we can use symbols here as well. It doesn't matter. I will just keep it like this. And I don't know, call it name. This will be sent as the name parameter. ID will be name, autocomplete, there won't be any. It will be, yeah, let's keep it required, I guess. Form control. So yeah, we will allow adding validation errors to the name field. Just know that this is like, you don't have to have all of this. It is just a convenience that is just a specific example of markup that's offered by Rodauth. But I want to keep it as it is. So we will rename this. I think, yeah, we left here this. I believe this is everything now. So if I refresh the page, we see our new name field. I guess we could theoretically make it smaller. Yeah, just so that it isn't super long. And if we wanted to require it, maybe we can even add this to the base configuration. If we wanted to require it, we could say before WebAuthn setup. I believe, yeah, that's how it's called. Before WebAuthn setup, we will check if param of name is empty, then we will add a validation error. Let's see, I think I have those here in the main configuration. I have already an example of adding validation errors, yes. So I will just copy it here. So this is just Rodauth API for validation errors. So we will require it, and before create account, yeah, I think that should be correct. We'll require it, and then we need to set it up in the table. So yeah, let's see the documentation. I don't now remember how this is done. So there is our before WebAuthn setup hook. What I'm now trying to see is how to add an existing field to the record before it's saved. I'm used to looking at the Rodauth source code because I'm so familiar with it already, but I want to see if it's figure outable from the documentation. Okay, so there is new WebAuthn credential. Remove. Wait, so these are auth methods. No, that's fine actually. Remove credentials, view. Yeah, basically most of these methods they perform something, but I would like to find okay. There are sometimes a lot of these options, so it's difficult to find the more important ones. So let's look at the source code. I find that super easy to read, so we are looking at the WebAuthn feature. And I'm interested in the WebAuthn setup route. So that's here. This is the block of code that's handling the setup request. Okay, here we can see that it's just requiring stuff to be there, like requiring us to be authenticated, that the account exists. And here we are initializing it's initializing the WebAuthn credential. And from what I see, so here it's using throw and catch for Ruby. So this is a catch block, and there are some things that are throwing. This is what's making these validation errors work. And we can see that it's actually inserting the record in this method. I was right. So WebAuthn keys insert. So this is definitely where this is inserted. So I believe that this method it's called only on the setup route. So, and it's configurable. So if I try to find it here, add WebAuthn credential. So it's here. I think I won't be able, there is no way to hook into those parameters. So I ideally wanted it to add the name to this insert statement, but it seems that it's not possible, at least without copy pasting this code, which definitely want to avoid. So we will just make an update instead. So we will make an update. So this is where it's inserted, and we have this after WebAuthn setup, which is still in the same transaction. So this should be a safe place for us to update that record. I will also see if there is a DS method for selecting the specific credential. WebAuthn keys DS. Yeah, I guess we need to find that specific record. So basically I want to find the one that we just inserted, so I'm just looking for a way to do that. Does it have an auto incrementing key? Account WebAuthn keys. Yeah, no, the primary key is account ID WebAuthn. There is no ID column. So the last use is being updated, but I really want to find this specific one. So let's see if we can kind of get this WebAuthn credential ID. That's what we're looking for. Yeah. Also maybe, yeah, so do not disturb just in case. Maybe I can also open, I totally forgot, it shows my experience with streaming. I totally forgot to look at the comment section. Let's see if I can find it. So I want to look at it from my phone. Maybe I opened the YouTube Studio app, but maybe it's on the YouTube app. Okay, great. I opened the live chat. Yes, it's as I expected, 0 people. Yeah, there is 1 person now, but I suspect this is just me looking at the chat, so I don't think there will be an activity. I need to mute the iPhone. Okay, good. So let's get back to it. So we are looking at the WebAuthn setup route. We want to find so this WebAuthn credential, we want to get this ID. It seems that it's not saved anywhere, it's just in a local variable. So, and this method, yeah, it's not using an instance variable here. So we will just save it for ourselves. So in this add WebAuthn credential, or maybe here, WebAuthn credential. So I'm trying to find this one, if this is even overridable. No, but this one is. We know that this one is. So let's do that. I'll go back here and we will say here, yeah, just to check, yeah, that's, we are now overriding this authentication method. So add WebAuthn credential, and we will just do call the original behavior and then store, then we will store this in the local, in the instance variable. So WebAuthn credential ID, and then we will, so we've stored it here and we want to retrieve it here after WebAuthn setup. So I'd say after WebAuthn setup, we will, yeah, we will now update this record. So I think the DS method is, no, it's not here because it's not overridable, but I want to call this method, and you see this is already selecting all of the ones from our account. So I will call WebAuthn keys ds, no, WebAuthn keys ds, and this is now a SQL dataset. So normally you don't need to deal with SQL that much. You can just call active record code, and I mean, I guess we could. Why not? Let's show how you can use active record. So we will return the Rails account, which will return the account model, which is active record model, and then we will say WebAuthn keys, where account ID is our account ID. That's a Rodauth method, and then we will say we will update it with the name. So we will just add the name param. I hope we will still have time for the passwordless registration and login, but that should hopefully be easy. No, we need for this, no, we don't need this conditional because WebAuthn keys will already retrieve it for this account. What we need is to query that specific WebAuthn ID. So that's what we've saved here. Credential ID. Yeah, I believe that's everything we need. And I think that we need to say update all here. Yeah, I don't know, I want to avoid finding it and updating it. It's not necessary. Great, so this is now all active record. There is no SQL here, which I think is beneficial. Yeah, let's see if this works. I think that we have everything. And let's also display this somewhere. So I don't know. Let's display it on the home page. We'll have some section. I don't know, WebAuthn keys, and we will grab the current account, grab WebAuthn keys, and I guess, I don't know, maybe we can just display them as a list. Yeah, we will just display the names, I guess. I guess that should be enough. So if I go to the home page, we have our WebAuthn keys section. I'll just separate it a bit from that. Here. So we have our WebAuthn section and we don't have any keys currently. Let's now try to add it. So if I don't type anything, I mean, browser will now tell me to fill in this field. So I don't know how to test validation, maybe space. No, I think that will probably still pass. No, it doesn't matter. Like, let's say it works. I mean, we can remove this required, and then hopefully the browser will pick it up and allow us to submit the form. So let's say, okay, we continue, create it. Yes. So our validation is working correctly. So let's call this fingerprint, because this is what we will be registering here. So I will do it again. And it works. So we have our fingerprint authenticator set up. Perfect. Yeah, that's the tweaking that I wanted to show, that it's configurable, so you can then create a nicer interface around this, like some applications do, where you kind of make it more obvious that you can add multiple WebAuthn authenticators. But that's out of the scope for this stream. So for the end, I would then like to show you Rodauth's passwordless registration and login functionality. We will create a new account for this, because this one already has a password set up, so it doesn't kind of prove anything. So I will sign out. Yeah. Maybe I should check here if we are actually logged in. Authenticated. Cool. And we will also hide this title as well. Okay. So what I want to show you basically is this. I have it already open up here. Is these two features. So this is for passwordless registration and this is for passwordless login. Let's enable both. Yeah, it was the base feature for all. I will make it its own section now. So WebAuthn verify account and WebAuthn login. These don't require any additional tables, so that's everything we need. And now if we sign up, you see that the password fields have disappeared. This is because, yeah, this is automatically hidden by this feature, because it's assumed that you now want passwordless registration. So I will say Yanko and some other email, I don't know. Cool. So nothing happens yet, so this will only happen on account verification. We'll only see it on account verification. So let's open this page, and if I open it now, then there is it will try to auto submit the form because I've set it up this way. So verify account form, it has this stimulus controller that auto submits the verify account form. So if I open this, yeah, I think it's in JavaScript, or maybe it's here directly in layout. Yeah, it auto submits it, and I added it because people are constantly asking how they can avoid the step of having to submit a blank form, because verify account form in cases where you don't want the set password is blank. So I added this functionality to the demo app so that people hopefully stumble upon it, but now we don't want it because now we have to set a separate. No, actually we can keep it because it will render the let's open it. It should be safe. So now we have, now what is rendered is the setup form, and we have this name field that we configured there before, but on passwordless login we actually want to hide it because the point is to make everything as simple as possible, and people want, in this case, they won't have multiple keys, multiple authenticators. So let's modify the configuration to hide and not require the field in this context. Yeah, I think it will already not be required because it won't be hitting the WebAuthn setup route at all. It will hit this verify account route, so we're safe. So this let's see, Rodauth base. This code shouldn't even be executed, this before WebAuthn setup after, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's check the source code again. Holy Grail. Verify account. Yes, so before account verification, it's creating this credential. So it's saving here. It's saving it to an instance variable. Because it's retrieving it here. Okay. So yeah, it won't call any of these hooks. It will call this and this will get executed, but it's not a problem. So the only thing we need to do is in our WebAuthn setup form where we added this field, we will just hide it. If we are on if request path equals Rodauth verify account path. So unless this is true, we will not display it. Yeah, sorry. I wanted to show you how simple it is, but now we have to make tweaks to show the original flow. Great, so now we are on the verify account form. We visited the link in the email and the user is presented with this. We set up authentication. You need to authenticate with an additional factor before continuing. Yeah, because I've required multifactor authentication. Why is it required? If no, I don't get it. So it says here if it uses two-factor authentication. Does it use two-factor authentication? Let's print it out somewhere in the navbar, or maybe go to the recovery auth template. We will add a binding, or maybe we can just add a binding pry here. Or binding RB. We don't need pry anymore. So I wanted to ask, does Rodauth think that we are using two-factor authentication? Uses. He thinks we are. Okay, then we will say if uses two-factor authentication and has a password. I believe that's how it's called. So if I go here, has password. Is it a private method? Yeah, has password. Function name, set error reason, catch error. Yeah, it's a private method. So I can just say if Rodauth uses two-factor authentication and the Rodauth Rails account password hash, if it's present, so that would mean that it has the password. So we will require only in this case, because then it's actual two-factor authentication. I'm not sure if this is supposed to return true, because we technically have only a single factor, the WebAuthn login. So I'll do that and then see if it works. So I have now authenticated with WebAuthn, and I want it to allow, I need to exit the pry and remove the CRB. So if I go home, we don't have a password. Let's see, why is this present? I don't know what was that, but it seems to be working now. Great, so that was that was account verification. I will close this account and show it again. You need to authenticate via additional factor before continuing. I don't know. Then let's remove this. It's interesting. So this is now not related to this code. This is now required by this close account. So close account requires that you are multi-factor authenticated. So this seems like there are some pull requests that can be shown, or that pull requests that can be submitted to Rodauth. I will see if I can kind of monkey patch it here, just so that it works here as we expect. So if we look at the source code again for Rodauth and go to the close account route, we can see that it calls require account, and that asks if the account is two-factor authenticated. Okay, let's try to override uses two-factor authentication method. As far as I remember, maybe require uses to, no, it's not, or maybe if I go to, yeah, it's here. No, I guess I should finish the stream soon. I'm not thinking straight. So two-factor base, this is where this uses two-factor authentication comes from. So it's not overrideable directly, but we can still just override the method. Nothing is stopping us from this, so everything is just normal Rodauth method. So I can say if uses two-factor authentication. So here I can say so I can call super, and I don't want to, I only want to override the specific behavior when we are using WebAuthn and don't have a password. So let's see if there is a way to check if WebAuthn is set up. Yeah, there is a WebAuthn setup method. So if WebAuthn is set up, and has password, and the account has password, and it doesn't have a password, then we will return false. I know why this happens, because we have set up to automatically create recovery codes when we set up with WebAuthn. That's why. So it's because we have recovery codes. Okay, so it's, yeah, Rodauth is actually returning correct thing, because he detects that we have recovery codes, and then that then he thinks we have the second factor. I will just comment this out for now, and we will log out, and we will delete this account and then try everything again. Yeah, that's what the stream is for. We're figuring things out together. So that's this last account, so I will just delete it, and it will delete all of the associated stuff. So let's now start again with passwordless registration and login with a clean slate. So some name and the email. So let's see if, yeah, hopefully I reverted everything. Great, so I'm logged in and I can verify my account. Okay. Maybe we can even hide this if the Rodauth. I want to hide this if we are not multi-factor authenticated. So let's say uses two-factor authentication. Uses, yeah, cool. I will just hide it because we don't want to show it for this person. Great, so let's verify our account. We've received a verification link. We set up passkey, and we are now, our account has been verified. Hopefully it's now. I guess it still thinks we are using two-factor authentication. Maybe there is something in Rodauth that can be brought, but it's not. Nothing is blocking us now. So that was the passwordless registration. We registered our account. We verified it only with WebAuthn, without any passwords. And if I now sign out, then we also want to be able to log in with our credential and with our WebAuthn authenticator. So the WebAuthn login feature, it added this link which we can use, and we are now logged in. So this is passwordless registration and login with WebAuthn. You don't have to use it. It comes with this. It comes with these separate features, so they don't need to be enabled, but you can if you want to. So it's kind of a nice demonstration on what is possible. There is probably a way to eliminate some clicks, and I also wanted to investigate the possibility of adding this kind of auto-completion, which at least partly, I think, not everything, but it involves using these specific auto-completion parameters. I remember this from the Apple presentation, but I think it might require some JavaScript changes. Maybe the JavaScript part needs to update. Probably the JavaScript part needs to be updated to support this auto-completion. And that's nice, because then people can just choose it from the drop-down. They don't need to enter anything. They don't need to remember their email address. So, but I maybe wanted to look into it in this stream, but I feel like that it's enough for now, because we struggled with some other stuff. So this auto-completion is definitely a feature that I would like Rodauth to support, but but I would need to figure it out, and it's not like Passkeys. So this is specifically Passkeys implementation. It's not the simplest one to understand, so it would be great if someone else figured it out and added it to Rodauth, but I think this is a good base for now, and hopefully it provides a decent enough UX. I mean, it can be changed, of course, and you don't want to expose the WebAuthn terminology to the user, but yeah. So that's it for this stream. We've showed the base setup, we've showed passwordless registration and login, and okay. See you in the next stream then.